We were invited tonight by the Honorary Oryem Henry Okello, Minister of State of Uganda.
Uganda.
We are very thankful for your time, for your invitation.
Thank you.
We met here in Uganda to discuss details of the situation of the country, to discuss also the situation of the entire Middle or Western Africa, depending how you look at the situation. But I would like to start and ask you about the very good numbers that are coming from Africa and coming from Uganda especially. You are right now among the 20 fastest growing economies in the world, with the GDP growth of 6%. That is absolutely crazy if you look at the world. The situation in the world is pretty meek. We have 2.9%, which is nothing. Right now we have 6%. Where do you see Uganda in 10 years, looking at the tempo of the growth, looking at the situation that is happening now?
Well, I'm first of all, I'm glad to be part of this discussion, especially from our Polish friends, discussing about Uganda. If you just give me a second to tell you that Uganda and Poland have got a long history,
yes,
of being not only a relationship, but having a strange relationship in that during the Second World War, the Polish government at that time chose to repatriate and send many Polish families to Uganda, take shelter from the war, hoping that they will be safer in Uganda than any other place. And they came to Uganda and they were put in a particular place in western Uganda, where they lived throughout the Second World War. But unfortunately, when they were put in that place, one of the things they forgot was that there was malaria in Africa, and that the Europeans are not very good to withhold malaria.
We are still afraid of that. Nothing changed since.
So many, unfortunately, many Polish who were taken refuge in Uganda did not die of the war, but died of malaria. Their remains and the graves are still in Uganda. The Polish government has since paid for it to be maintained and looked after. So that always is a reminder to us Ugandans that Uganda at that time of the Second World War was considered a very safe oasis where Poland could and other people would send the refugees to take refuge for the Second World War.
Oh, that is fantastic news. Most of the Poles don't know that. We know a lot of stories about Polish people being helped by the nations, like we have in Iran, we have people in different areas where the refugees were kept for a moment. Didn't hear the story about Uganda, so thank you for that.
Thank you.
And then looking on this current situation, you're growing very fast. You're going very, very fast ahead. What do you think could happen in 10 years? It's a long time, it's a short time?
The Uganda is going to go through a big bang that I'm a bit worried that we might not be able to absorb, we might not be able to sustain it, and it might be a curse rather than a blessing. Whereas Uganda's economy have been struggling for many years due to the bad government regimes that were there before this government. This government has since put into place mechanisms, policies, and systems in place to ensure that we have a continuous growth throughout in our work plan, and as such, the various macroeconomic principles that we put in place and the strict control of currency fluctuations has resulted in the economy booming and multiplying the way it is. Now, that is the basic.
Oh, this is great basics. You have 6% growth, the world is 2.9%.
But recently,
yes,
to our shock, we found one of the biggest gold mines was discovered in Uganda.
Over 30 positions of that, if I remember, yeah? Over 30 sources.
Exactly.
It's huge.
It's huge gold mine. Now we also recently found oil, which is another big resource also, and we'll soon start drilling the oil out and making a lot of money out of the oil. And so this gold plus the oil, which you will have noticed one of the biggest source of wealth to countries and individuals around the world.
Yes.
So in the case of Uganda, the next 10 years, once the oil comes out, which we hope to come out by the next 2 years, and we start exporting the oil.
Just to be clear, meaning it comes out means when you finally can get the oil to the surface of the ground.
Well, the oil is there already.
Yes. Yeah.
We have to extract it now.
Exactly.
And the reason why we're not extracting now, because our policy is very simple. We want all our oil to be exported to make us the maximum amount of money, and we're trying to see how we can reduce wastage of oil in the region. So oil is going to definitely give us a lot of money. Another thing which we are very fortunate and we came aware of recently is that we have also a lot of gold. One of the biggest deposit of gold in the world is one in a place called Bale, managed by some Chinese at the moment. So that is going to bring us a lot of income once
So what's the problem? You have two great resources, you have two great sources of money. You said you're afraid that the country will not be able to accommodate this entire growth.
Because you see, it is we are a small economy and a small country.
Okay.
And once we start getting billions of dollars, for example, then coming through into our banks. Now the question is, how do you then spend the money? It becomes difficult to spend the money. Maybe you can spend $200 million, $300 million dollars. Then what?
Yes.
You're stuck as to where to spend more, because you're trying also to avoid wastage, as others have had as wastage. You want to try and manage things properly
and keep it under control.
Yeah. But you find that with the oil, there's so much surplus dollars in the market. With gold, there's so much surplus dollars in the market, and this will make life exceptionally. The things will result into more or less, in some cases, very fearful. It will result in corruption, a lot of wastage, which is not necessary, and that as a result will not be fortunate for our country.
I think I follow you. Looking at the Arabian countries, for example, some of them were invested the money properly, some of them will spend it.
Those who spend the money because there's an amount of you can spend on infrastructure.
I'm looking just to be clear. I'm looking at two countries. We compare Emirates and Dubai, for example, Brunei.
Right.
Brunei is the example of a wastage, just like what you're saying.
That's true. That's true. It's a small country, lots of resources.
Yes.
But it's mostly just thrown in the air and wasted. You're right.
The only happy people are the manufacturers of Rolls-Royce and all other cars, but it's not the goal for the country.
No.
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
I asked you about this 10-year period, and very specifically, because we're opening the building project of the school. We're looking at the school. We're in Kiptum district in Achioli, so basically the area that is far north, pretty far from the capital, because it's like 700 kilometers. The roads and everything there is there, but the trip from this region to the capital is pretty difficult even today.
Yes.
And I'm looking at this 10-year period is exactly at the time when we finish the school to be built, and we will have the first students outside of it. Basically, people that will finish their education. Is in this time, in this 8 to 10 years period, do you think those two factors, the gold, the oil, the growth of the economy and everything else, what kind of world will they live in? What kind of Uganda will they see?
First of all, we're happy about the school. And this school will face a lot of challenges in the sense that with all this money flowing around, there are bound to be vices which will emerge. And one of the vices, my fear is one of the vices that there will be a lot of the kind of vices, corruption will be rampant because with so much money which cannot be used in infrastructure, cannot be used for other purposes, then what the result is people try to put it in their own pockets. Okay. So we'll have a kind of situation when Nigeria discovers oil. Today Nigeria is one of the most corrupt countries in the world because a lot of the oil money is circulating around, and as a result, people not being
flow down.
You use from it, people are wasting it. So my fear is that in 10 years, if we don't get our acts right and plan right, so that all our resources that we get go direct into those kind of projects, projects that will stimulate the economy, so projects that will ensure that we have good infrastructure, projects that will ensure the good health system and good education system. If we do not manage this thing properly, then that money is going to cause us problem.
Okay. You're local here to the area. You live in Achioli region. You were born here. If you look at the situation, what is the difference between this northern part of Uganda and the areas around the Victoria Lake, around the capital? There are huge differences in.
There's a lot of differences. The countries in the south are very close to the capital city, which is Kampala. The natural fallout, or then the natural extension of a city like the towns around Kampala is that they get to benefit directly from the consequences of being next to the.
You have access. You have low distance.
We are only 900 kilometers from Kampala city.
Jesus.
So it is not easy for our people to access the kind of opportunities and the kind of ways of life and the kind of things that people enjoy in Kampala. So this is what we call a hard to reach area. So teachers and who work here, we don't have a lot of social activities. We don't have the kind of cinemas you might go to. We don't have kind of restaurants that would go for a nice meal. All these are the kind of challenges that we don't have in northern Uganda.
But in this case, it means it's even more important for kids to have a chance to learn a skill, to learn a job, basically.
Yes.
Not only to flee to the capital, not only to flee to the big cities or to the oil regions, but also
that is why this school is very important to us. Okay. Because this school is going to be made up to international standards. We've been discussing that the prospects of the Polish students coming to teach in these schools. So this will be a unique opportunity for students who go to school regularly to be trained and put in a position that once they're free of that position, they can come and
We have right now the honorary consulate and stuff like that. So basically, there are ways to do it.
Exactly.
Just do it.
Exactly.
Just do it. I'm looking at the numbers, and we started from that. Looking at the information about the number I hate personally, GDP per capita. We discussed it already before we started rolling. In my opinion, especially if someone living in the European Union that is not very, let's say, operationally successful with industry and stuff, most of the numbers that are presented in GDP per capita charts are more or less bullshit. They don't represent.
I totally agree with you. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
For example, the World Bank says that people in Uganda, people in Africa live
under the poverty level,
and they live with $1 per day.
It's 1.9 exactly.
$1.9 per day.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
Yes.
For example, we have just been going through the mango season.
Yes.
Okay. And when you go to the markets, when you go to the roadside,
it's full.
It's full of these mangoes.
Yes.
And you get a whole basket of mangoes for less than a dollar. The same basket of mangoes, where in Western Europe, it will be $20, $30, $40.
Easy.
You see, and yet here it can get below the dollar. So you can imagine that the fluctuation, the difference in these figures, which applies to almost everything, will not, it doesn't make sense when you talk about these big figures being thrown around by the World Bank and, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, from my point of view, it's the same. I look at the economies that are very well presented in those numbers, like US, but they don't produce anything. It's the same situation in Europe. We do a lot of GDP out of the financial market, but it doesn't produce anything. Looking at the young people in Uganda, looking at the population, do you think Uganda could be a production place, a production hub for Africa, or maybe even for the entire South, what they call the BRICS system, or anybody else?
We are one of the youngest
populations, for sure.
Populations in Africa. However, the government has not had an opportunity to train this young population into something useful and generating. There only is a small portion who have been trained and made into useful population. Nevertheless, the population is still very, very high. And this is something of concern to government because it can have very dire consequences if this youth decide to revolt. You will also notice when in Uganda that many youth fly to Middle East for jobs.
And do they come back?
Some do come back. some are killed in the Middle East.
Yeah.
It's not common practice for them to be killed in the Middle East. So these youth, sincerely, the government have to. We have started something called training hubs, where they can go and get trained in different skills and to that open opportunity. But also the same hub, the government also is ready to put money inside. So that within the next 1 week, you can be able to do your own thing, another thing, you can be able to do your own thing. Everybody is being through this hub. We hope that we can train as many youth as possible for them to be able to become independent.
Looking at your past, you are a very well educated person. You were studying in UK. You're professional. Right now you're working with more or less the entire world. Do you see the students of that little school here in the northern Uganda? Will these guys have opportunities like you had in your life? Being the borders right now are more open. We have the internet. Is there a chance that this success story of yours?
I think that they will have a success story, these children. Because one of the things about knowledge is that the way people get knowledge varies. One of the biggest things the children get knowledge is through this smartphone.
This could be a devil's toy, but it also could be a learning.
Exactly. So we are aware that the challenges that come with it and what these smartphones can do to whether it's positive information or negative information. But we hope that our youth and young people can be able to make the differences.
Getting ready for our conversation today, I read some articles of Ugandan press that there are companies already trying to utilize the smartphone as a teaching tool.
Yes.
Basically to do some trainings and stuff that you can do from the distance.
That's true.
That could be a great information for people here in the north.
It's great information because even now many students and many schools already use the Zoom as a method of teaching and a method of giving information. Doctors recently, I was surprised in Kampala when doctors were talking to doctors in India through telezooming.
Okay.
And the doctor in India was trying to tell his colleague how to treat and operate somebody here.
Wow.
It was something amazing by any standards.
So basically, we're coming back to your first idea. We need to control the process, and if you have a good direction, you can use any tools, even those that could be dangerous.
Absolutely.
For your benefit.
Absolutely.
Looking for the comparisons between Poland and Uganda, we are here as basically members of the Light for Africa Foundation. This entire project of the school was discussed with you, with other people that are very well. They have a very big heart for the people of the area. You are focused very much on learning skills, not what I call the empty knowledge.
No.
There's a lot of directions in the studying, a lot of directions in the education that is basically wasteful. You are so focused on practical information, practical knowledge, practical skills.
Yes.
Do you think these skills will be utilized here in the region, or basically these people will jump on the plane and fly somewhere else? What do you think?
I think that most of them will remain in Uganda. A few might try to escape, but one thing we have learned over the years is that Ugandans love their country so much that whenever they go abroad, they always feel homesick and want to come back.
And also one more thing, just like what you said, you will have a little bit more money, let's say, for infrastructure. So trip to your parents would be short.
That is true.
That's good.
But the positive thing about some of the youth going to work abroad is that we call them now remittance by the diaspora. Uganda gets almost 1.3 billion dollars through a repatriation of money from the relatives. So there'll be a point, where all
losing some, but you're gaining a lot.
You gain a lot.
This is a situation, I think, from Southern America, when a lot of people from countries in Latin America working in the US, sending money back to their home countries, helping build their economies there as well.
Yes.
So this could be interesting.
Remittance is very, very important to our economy. Remittance today is very important to many countries. India is one of the biggest countries where they receive the biggest remittance. Ethiopia is one of the biggest countries because there are many people in the diaspora in the United States of America, and as a result, they send money to their families and friends, and they do wonderful things.
So in a couple of years, we will have much more of your neighbors fighting with us for the seats on the plane, across the Africa. That's nice. I'm looking also at the situation, because Poland was, at the end of the 80s, was freed from the communist regime. We were in a similar desperate situation as Uganda is right now. For the last 35 years, we were number 2 in the economic growth in the world, next to China. But we are not much more, let's say, wealthy than we were 30 years ago.
Right.
Of course, the situation has much improved.
Yes.
But comparing to Germany, comparing to UK, Poles are still earning 3-4 times less.
Right.
Same as trainees. They produce everything.
Right,
They don't
but
earn much.
no.
What do you think, how the nation would, the Ugandan nation in this case, would react to a situation that they work very hard, they see the improvement, but they're not so far ahead as they could be?
One thing I can tell you for sure is that where else we should have been far ahead of what we are now. We have hope. Mm-hmm. We have hope in the system that the things will change. In that, for example, the Norwegians.
Yes.
One of the things we learned from the Norwegians is that whatever resources we get from
they save a bit.
Yes, and use on a percentage. Now that is the policy that has been put into place in this country. Mm-hmm. That we should not, whatever wealth we get now through the sovereign fund, we should always save it and use 14%
okay.
of
the
gains, and use it specifically to be injected in areas of the economy that are stimulating the economy, are productive.
That is very good.
But you don't put the money in redundant areas where it does not generate any money, or areas where it's supposed to receive money, because otherwise they will. If we abuse the resources that we get, and don't put in the productive areas, then eventually our economy will not be stimulated enough, and we'll be using more of our savings, entering into our savings when we shouldn't be entering our savings. So if we use the percentage of the saving properly and stimulate the economy, then we'll be able to save more, and our economy at the same time be growing.
Just for the finish, I'm here for 3 last days. We travel most of the country from Kampala, from the capital up to the north.
Still longer.
I know. Still a lot of places to visit. But you have great roads, great network coverage for the mobile phones. Internet is everywhere. Mobile financial services everywhere. People using phones, people driving motorcycles, cars, trucks are full. And still, because of those dumb, I say it very clearly, dumb factors, you are treated the third world country. What do you feel listening to this bullshit? So
it is very shameful.
Irrational.
It's very shameful. I lived in Western Europe for most of my younger and productive life. I now live in Uganda, and there is no place like Uganda and most African countries. When you drive back to Kampala, mm-hmm. Okay, you'll be the number of small markets that you find on the road, selling all kinds of things, from fruits, from vegetables, from other things along the market.
But not only this, they sell also mobile phones. They sell clothes.
Exactly.
It's not the third world.
We have everything.
Jesus Christ,
we have everything.
Story. Yeah.
We have electricity.
Yeah.
We have bottled water. You know, we have soft drinks. We have alcohol productions. We are now, Uganda now today is one of the biggest producers of milk in the region. So all this is a combination of neocolonialism that continues to be hung over our heads, so that we don't mm-hmm. become independent and self-reliant. So they keep giving us this third world, which is very unrealistic and a lot of rubbish. And because by any sense of imaginations, the standards of living and the quality of living in this country,
safety, I'm afraid,
quality in the country is much better.
You lived in London for many years. I used to work.
But even the safety
in London comparing to safety in Kampala, forget it.
The safety here is much safer than here than in London. I keep telling people that the chance of you being stabbed by a knife is higher in Western Europe than in Uganda.
For sure.
That's
just Minister Okello. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for the invitation.
Thank you. No,
See you next time.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Come again.